Hello, this is Sarah with Sunflower Cottage Crochet. Welcome to the beginner crochet tutorial series. In this tutorial, you are going to learn how to make this single crochet. But the first thing I'm going to teach you is how to do a slip knot and a chain so that you can work these. The single crochet is a very simple, very beginner stitch, but it is used in a lot of different patterns. So one of the first things I want to talk to you about is the hook. This is a 5mm H8 hook. It is by Clover in their Armor series. It's a tapered hook, and I like this one. They are a little expensive. I did happen to start out with these, which are Susan Bates hooks, as you can see. Now, it did not have this nifty little handle on it. I added that to it. We have a tutorial incoming for how to do that as well. So if you just buy an inexpensive hook that doesn't have any kind of handle on it, rest assured this is quick and easy and very inexpensive to do. So this is an inline, as they call it. You can see that it doesn't quite taper as badly as this one does. It's really personal preference. To be honest, no hook is necessarily that much better than another. It's just what works best for you. I have a lot of hooks because I like crocheting and I like trying different things. So the yarn I'm using today is Red Heart Super Saver in the color, where did it go? I know it's turquoise. There it is. The ball of yarn, the label will explain quite a few things for you, such as how to pull the yarn out, the weight of the yarn, which is how big around the yarn is. It also kind of includes a little bit of how many strands they use to twist it. It tells you what crochet hook to use. Typically they want you to use a 5.5mm or an I9. A 5mm works just fine. That's the most common hook there is. If you're knitting, they call for a 5mm. And it gives you some washing instructions. And we don't really care about that right now. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to teach you a couple different ways to do a slip knot. I'll show you the hard way first, and then a nice easy way that I learned from Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. So the first way is you're going to lay the yarn across your index and middle fingers, and then you're going to pinch it. You're going to turn your hand over and wrap the yarn, around your fingers, and come back, cross it over, and now you're going to hold that in place. Come back around behind the loop you just made and use your fingers to pinch and hold everything in place. Okay, now we're going to take the hook and slide it under the first loop and grab the second one and pull it under and off. You can slide your fingers out now and you have a nice big fat loop. Pull the tail end of the yarn to tighten it, and now you pull the working yarn, which is still attached to the ball, and you tighten it up onto your hook. Alright, that makes for a loop that does not come loose and undone on you while you're working. The other way, see, I normally do it this way, so I'm already starting to, but the other way that I learned from Mikey from Crochet Crowd is to just take the yarn and your index finger and start back a little bit on the finger, not too far. Wrap it around once, wrap it around again, and pinch to hold. No special anything here. Now you grab the loop that's in the back and pull it over the one in front, and then you're going to pull the next one over and off, and you can just kind of pull up with your index finger to tighten that loop by holding both strands. Then you'll insert your hook and pull the tail end to pull it tight onto your hook. Now this will come loose if you pull on it with the working yarn, but you can always tighten it back up. So it's really a personal preference. There are many other ways to do a slip knot, but those are the two that I like the most. So now that I have a slip knot on my hook, I'm going to teach you how to do the chain. So to do a chain, we want to pull yarn through the loop that is on our hook. And the loop that is on your hook never counts as a stitch or a chain. because it's part of the yarn that you're still working with. So I like to kind of hold on to my tail to keep it out of the way, and I also grip onto the knot to keep it from moving all over. So when we yarn over, we wrap the yarn around the hook, like so. You might use your hook more, you might use your other hand more, however it works for you, but just get the yarn around the hook and trap it under the actual hook part. And you're going to turn your hook under and pull through the loop, and there you go. You have your first chain. Now you're going to do it again. Yarn over and pull through that loop. As you see, it creates a new loop on your hook each time you do that, and it leaves these sort of braided or V-shaped stitches onto your yarn, your work. But you're creating a chain, so we're going to yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through. And you can see that I'm turning my hook so that it grabs the yarn and pulls it through. So there's a little bit of twisting involved. If you hold your hook like I am, as you would say a knife, you don't get a lot of wrist twisting. So that will save your wrists and keep you from getting tired. And also it does help to have a fat grip or a soft grip to keep your hands from cramping or falling asleep if that's an issue for you. But just keep practicing the chain by yarning over and pulling through. Yarn over, pull through. Alright, so we have a decent enough chain to start. It doesn't look like much, but it's a start. So the next thing we're going to learn is the single crochet. If you recall, it's this right here. A single crochet has a multiple of any number plus 1 for your turning chain. And what that means is you can chain up any number of stitches you want. You don't even have to count it, unless of course the pattern says do X amount of chains. But for practicing purposes, any number of chains plus 1 more for your turning chain, and that means for when you turn your work. That will come in just a moment. You'll understand much more once I explain it to you as we go along. So just know, again, the multiple is any number plus 1. So with this on your hook, remember it doesn't count as anything. We're going to work in the second chain from the hook. So this one right here is your first one. This one is your second one. So you're going to insert your hook right into that stitch, just right under that loop, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. And there's your single crochet. Now go into the next chain, right under that top loop there, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now you have 2 single crochets. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Keep doing this all the way down to the very last stitch. And this is how you will always work a single crochet. It's no different any other row. But I will be sure to show you how to turn your work and make another row of single crochet. If you need to pause the video to catch up, that's no big deal. You can also rewind a little bit or just start it all the way over to practice the other 2 things that you were taught. Alright, I'm coming up to my last stitch here and the slip knot itself. So I'm going to insert into there, pull up a loop, and pull through both. Alright, so we got our first row done. To turn and do the next row, you're going to chain 1. Remember that was yarn over and pull through, and then turn your work to the back side. So now we got to learn how to work into these stitches that we just created. So right here is your first stitch, and I know it's hard to see, but there's a little hole there. There we go. You insert your hook into this hole and catch the top 2 V's. So insert, catch those top 2 V's, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Okay? Yarn over and pull through 2. Insert into the next 2 V's or next stitch, just like so. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert into the next stitch and complete your single crochet. We'll work this all the way down, and when we get to the last one, I want to explain something to you because a lot of beginners struggle with this. I certainly did. It is a very common thing that happens, so don't think that you are being stupid or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just a learning curve, and we all went through it. Okay, so to show you right here, it kind of looks like we're done. We finished the row, but we do actually still have another stitch to work right here. Okay, and we need to make sure that we do work that to keep the stitch count. So we're going to insert and work our stitches normal. Okay? One way to be sure that you're getting all your stitches worked is to know how many you had to start with and count each row. As a beginner, I know that can be frustrating and slow you down, but it is important. Otherwise, your work will start going inward or even outward. So you either didn't work enough stitches or you made too many. So we definitely want to be sure that we get the correct number. But the good way to count is to count the V's along the top. So you see, there's a V, there's a V. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I have 12 single crochets. So let's chain 1 and turn our work and do one more row. You're going to insert right into that first one and work a single crochet. You can either count as you go or count at the end, or count as you go and count at the end to make sure that your counting is correct and not off, because believe me, that happens too. Alright, I'm getting close to the end here. And I just want to be sure that I catch all the stitches. I mean, it looks like there's one that hasn't been worked right. So, we're going to work it. Alright, now it looks like we have some pretty straight edges. Let's go ahead and count these out so we know for sure if I have 12. Okay, here's the first V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I do have 12. That's how you do the single crochet, the slip knot, and a chain. I hope that this tutorial was helpful to you. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you would like to be notified of any future videos. Be sure to click the little bell icon as well. Thank you so much. Bye bye.